The League, as a nonprofit organization, helps train boards of directors. But you know what? It's not just enough to have a good board of directors and have it well trained. What's really important is to know, where is your next group of board of directors members going to come from? And so I'm going to present a radical idea for nonprofit boards and even for for-profit boards. And that is this concept of having a waiting list for your board of directors. Now, certainly, when I mentioned this in meetings here and there, kind of gotten a chuckle from people saying, we're having enough trouble getting people on our board of directors as it is, much less to have a waiting list. But let me lay out the process for you so that you can have a waiting list for your board of directors. Your board of directors in your nonprofit organization possibly has several committees. And you may staff, that is, put people on your committees who are on your board. But wouldn't it make sense to have people who are interested volunteers serve as members of those committees? In fact, you might even have a committee where, while there might be a board member who sits on the committee, that board member doesn't have to even be chair of the committee. It could be a volunteer, someone else from the community who could serve as chair of that committee and be on that committee. Well, this now allows boards of directors to have many, many great committees. And by having these great committees, individually, board members will have a chance to see what other people can do, and the organization will be able to open itself up to many people in the community who in the future might want to be on the board of directors. And so this idea of delegating activities to non-board members, but to participate at, quote, what traditionally is a board function, being part of a committee, not only gives the board and the nonprofit organization tremendous access to additional resources. What it does is it gives the nonprofit the opportunity to let people know we in the future will be looking for board members, and we'll look to board members to be the ones who have participated and contributed in the past. You'll be amazed at the ability of your nonprofit organization to create exactly that kind of waiting list. You'll be able to use great volunteers and have them know that someday they can rise to the level of being a member of the board of directors. You really want to keep what we call an HR file. You want to keep each person who sits on a committee and each person whom you might be considering for future board membership. You want to keep their resume. You want to consistently update your research on them through electronic research to make sure you know what they're doing. You want to stay in communication with that person. And one of the great ways to stay in communication with that person is to ask them to do things. But you want to ask them to do the kinds of things that they're really skilled at doing. So I urge you, while you today may be having trouble getting exactly the right members for your board of directors, there is a new way, there is a new procedure, there is a new system where I believe your nonprofit, assuming that it is worthy and doing great things, can actually have a waiting list for your board of directors. It'll make the members of your nominating committee work a lot less hard and be a lot more pleased with the results as to who gets on your board of directors.